Hey friends, this is Grace and welcome to layout number 3 of my latest series here in my YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you off the bat, this is going to go really quick because I did not realize that it did not record all of the videos that I had wanted. Anyways, this time I am going to go back and try to use these letter stencils that was a staple in my layouts 10 to 15 years ago. And I'm going to update them by using them as a stencil instead of using them as a guide to cut out my letters, because that's what I was using them back in the day, was that I would, cut out my letters from different kinds of papers using these stencils. But this time I'm using them as a stencil of how people in the card making world use stencils now, and that is to add some color through the openings with some kind of distress ink or distress oxide. And so that's what I'm going to do. This layout is going to be an 8.5 by 11 page, and it will have 4 photos, but I will trim down some of those photos so that it will fit. Remember that hexagon shape that I used for layout number 1 was still on my table, so I am going to use one of them to cut out some of my photos and also my journaling block. I am using an 8 by 8 paper pack as well, so that it will the designs of it will be small enough that it will fit the canvas that I am working on. So I'm just using a bunch of kind of rainbow colored type of distress mini ink pads, and I'm using a dauber for that, and I'm just spelling teach. I am going to cut that out, and that's going to be my title. Basically, I am documenting when I was a tutor during the height of COVID. I used to be a substitute teacher before I became an actual classroom teacher. I do teach art now, 2 days a week at my son's elementary school. Anyways, I had my own classroom. I was a substitute teacher, and of course during this time everybody went virtual, and we didn't have any work because we don't have anybody to substitute for because everybody was home. And our district realized that there was a big need for tutors for the students because some just, we were all navigating this new water, but then they realized that some of the kids, they don't do well with just kind of independent study, independent work. And so they gave us an opportunity to get back to work, and we did everything online. So I would meet 3 students every day, and it's 1 hour a day, and then I will help them with their homework and their classwork and whatnot. And most of them were middle schoolers, and so I was doing a lot of, algebra and a lot of science stuff. So that was very interesting. But another thing that I decided, going back to the layout, to use as a template were these tag templates. Now I do have some tag dies, but we're going with the old school here, so I decided to pull this out and try to do like what I used to do back then before die cut machines, manual and electronic, is to cut out the papers or the design from the paper and then hand cut it. And I'm going to do that, and that's where I'm going to do 5 of these tags, and that's where my letters are going to be housed for the word teach. So five tags to go with the 5 letters. And I really liked how this turned out. I have to say though that although I'm still using 8.5 by 11 for my me album, it's getting harder for me to work it because there's just not enough space for me to add all my doodads and my embellishments and my fun stuff. So it's getting hard for me to work with 8.5 by 11, but I like to restrain myself once in a while into a smaller canvas to see, how I can stretch this. Now, this paper pack that I was using happened to have a pattern paper that has a bunch of houses, and so I cut a few of those kind of to remind me that everybody was at home and learning, doing virtual classes and stuff like that. So I thought that was a good, easy way for me to add to the story, but at the same time add embellishments. And then I'm just finishing this off with some black Nouveau drops as kind of the centers for my upside down tag. And that's going to be my layout for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye now.